Another bite of tops, but under how much pressure?
Plenty.
180.
His first max of the match.
Johnny require 40.
For the match. Double 10. And Johnny Stewart gets his first win out of the Super Series, and you can tell the relief in his eyes as he gets the job done. The beaming smile. There it is. There's the W for Johnny Stewart. A 4-3 win against Nigel Lloyd to kickstart the day. Coming up next, Steve Hine against Joe Croft. Which is why now when we see him here, we give him the big build-up, because he's earned that over his stints here by doing magnificent things. Like pinning ton-topping finishes. Hallelujah! It's there, Crofty. Well, he's already had a 106. Is he going to follow up with a 161? It's finishing of a perfect nature from Joe Croft. 2 legs, 2 ton-toppers, and we're back to 2-2.
Anybody I lost to, I hated it.
And if Croft didn't take out the 108, which he doesn't, he could be on the cusp of losing. It would mean that there would be a 3-way tie at the top of the table after the second game of the afternoon session. Jimi Hendricks in action next against Anthony Allen, and things could get very interesting at the top between a number of players very, very quickly. And so Hine will come back for tops for the match to ensure it's a 3-way at the top of the table. And double 10 is found, and there will be a 3-way split to the top of the league table. Hine joins Hendricks and Croft on 8 points. The Muffin Man raced into a 2-0 lead. He enjoyed that victory, didn't he? Croft, a couple of ton-toppers, pegged it back to 2-2, but Hine picked up the points in the end. A 4-3 win for him. Coming up next, we're going to watch Anthony Allen square off against Jimi Hendricks. The day. Well, Allen may have something to say about that.
127.
1-2-7 to extend the game. To send us all the way. It's going to be a dart. Have the little red bit.
102.
Doesn't go, and so Allen's going to get 2 more for the match. He had a couple at double 16 to win this game 4-1. He's going to get a couple at tops to win it 4-2.
It just takes a little step back, deep breath.
And no mistake, a 4-2 win with a 14 darter. Allen looks up to the sky, and he then punches the board with delight. He wins 4-2. It puts him in the mix as he picks up 6. And he wins in 6, beating Jimi Hendricks by 4 legs to 2. Right, coming up next, we're going to watch Joe Croft and Johnny Stewart in action.
Yeah, because that ultimately...
Game shot in the first leg. Joe Croft
will map out your route to a win, and he maps out his route to leg 1.
So to finish off a clinically professional display, Joe Croft wants double 18 to seal a 4-0 victory. Croft the winner against Johnny Stewart. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch Nigel Lloyd against Jimi Hendricks. Can Jimmy get his kicks on Route 66? He went for the ball first dart. He's traversed his way along the route, but he has found it. A bit of ka-chow from Jimi Hendricks as he finds the 66. Lightning! Joe Croft and Steve Hine will be drawing up a chair in the practice room.
Nigel, you require 40.
And will be praying that Lloyd pins this tops. It would make life very interesting in this group. Because the man who was top of the table overnight has now lost 2 from 2. Nigel Lloyd, a 4-1 winner against Jimi Hendricks. It's an upset win. It's a win nonetheless. Lloyd 4, Hendricks 1. Next up for us, it's Hine against Allen.
Distractions.
Looks like there's going to be no distractions from Anthony Allen to Steve Hine in this leg. Tots a 3-2.
Game shot on the 5th leg.
15 darted. He's a leg away here. Steve Hine from moving himself on to 10 points.
12 ball. Double 13.
$56.
But it doesn't go. And so Hine will come back for a more bona fide
24.
opportunity to win this game.
Game
And he'll
shot
pin
and
the
the
double
match.
12. And Steve Hine runs off a 4-2 victor against Anthony Allen. You could see the relief in his face as he picked the points up. It is a game of millimetres, isn't it, Anthony? It's a game that's in Steve Hine's leisure. It is he who moves on to 10 points. Him and Croft very much have the running after 6 games of the day. And it is Joe Croft in action against Jimi Hendricks up next. We're going to learn a lot more about this group from the completion of that one. This is for 2-0. This would be for 10-10-10 in the group if he can pull a victory here. He went tops. Went there with a second. Pinned it with a second. And
Game
finds it
shot
with a
the second
third.
leg. Jimi Hendricks.
How key a passage of play could that be? 4-1 win, which would put him on 10 points with Joe.
Game
And he
shot
will
and the
be
match.
on 10 points.
Jimi
Jimi Hendricks beats Joe Croft by 4-1. And that celebration tells you everything you need to know. A couple of defeats at the beginning of the day, but Hendricks is finally on the board. Beats Joe Croft by 4-1 in that one. Coming up next is Johnny Stewart in action up against Steve Hine. Again.
What a difference a day makes.
What a difference a finish can make. The
Game
double
shot
16
the
for
third
1-3-4. Hine
Steve
breaks back.
Hine.
The game returns to throw. You've had 2 4-3s. You've had 2 4-2s.
88.
But Hine misses a dart to take us the distance again.
Double 5's tricky,
Only
isn't it?
require 10.
Two 5s for 2 points.
Game
And it is
shot
a
and
win
the match.
for Johnny Stewart.
Johnny
A 4-2
Stewart.
success against Steve Hine. That makes things very interesting at the top of the table. It's another win, and well, he's got the bit between his teeth now, hasn't he, Johnny Stewart? Beats Steve Hine by 4-2. Both the averages in the mid-80s. Stewart winning 4-2. We're going to take a short break. When we return, Anthony Allen against Nigel Lloyd.
Nigel, you require 117.
Lloyd 117 to take out this opening leg against Fro. Treble 19 leaves tops.
Game shot
Pinned
the
for
first
ton
leg.
topper. Lloyd leads
Nigel
1-0
Lloyd.
with a break.
Know what he can do on a regular basis. Obviously, he's nervous. This being one of his biggest achievements. Yeah, I should imagine he is nervous.
174.
174 to leave 32 after 12 for the match. Lloyd looking to round off a 4-0
43.
victory here at the end of the third
Nigel
round
require
of fixtures
32.
for the match. And he's got time. 2-8s. He has had turmoil on this double today. Along for double 4.
Game
Foul
shot
for the
and
win, a
match.
4-0 win. You can see the
Nigel
relief on the
Lloyd.
face of Nigel Lloyd. A 4-0 victory against Anthony Allen. Coming up after the break, Johnny Stewart and Jimi Hendricks.
17.
117 for Hendricks. Single 17. Gives himself a dart at top. This is a finish that's gone a few times today. And it's pinned
Game shot
again.
the fourth leg.
Hendricks makes it
Jimi
3-1.
Hendricks.
Got to make sure he doesn't catches that. Goes across to the left. It's tops. And he's got to move all the way across. But he finds a
Game
way
shot
in.
the sixth leg.
It's 3-3.
Johnny Stewart.
He could have 1 foot through the door
Game
to
shot
tomorrow
and the
night's
match.
final. The 4-3 win for Jimi
Hendricks.
Hendricks. He's on the dart. He doesn't. And he knows how significant that could be. He wins 4-3. He is one step closer to the big finale. by winning in the finale leg. Despite a 10-point difference pretty much in the averages, Stewart took it all the way. Hendricks picks up the points. We'll see you for more darts next. Now,
106.
Seen plenty of these over the course of the week. And there's another.
On the first leg.
tongue-topping for fun, this group. Alan finds another. He leads by a leg to nil. And Joe Croft staring into the abyss.
76.
This match is all over.
And it is now. Real frustration there from Joe Croft. It's a 4-2 win for Anthony Allen in that particular contest. As far as the league table is concerned, it keeps him on 10 points. And now he'll be lurking over his shoulder as to what Steve Hine does next. And he takes on Nigel Lloyd. The size of the trophy is big.
Nigel, you require 62.
Ask your mum about disappointment, Mitchell.
For the match. And this really would put the cat amongst the pigeons. The cat is amongst the pigeons. As Nigel Lloyd beats Steve Hine by 4 legs to 2. And it opens up the door again to Joe Croft. The doors of opportunities for the players in this group just keep opening and closing. It's like a revolving door. That's the tale of the tape from that one. We're going to take a break. Alan against Stewart is after this.
So there's plenty of variables.
Always twists and turns when it comes to the permutations.
Well, you'd think when you look at that with Jimi Hendrix on 12 points that he couldn't be caught, but he can.
19 would have left tops for Johnny Stewart, but the double 19 will leave tops for him and he'll find it. And Stewart gets the break. He leads 1-0. Tour to try and qualify once again for the Lakeside. And he'll use this as a source to move forward. And he finishes with a win. A 4-1 success against Johnny Stewart in our third and final game. And he wants to leave a memento on the stage. Alan 4, Stewart 1. Hendricks and Hine follows this. And will lead himself on 76 if this doesn't go. But Hine has come up with a few ton toppers today, but none may not be as pivotal as that.
Steve required 20.
It's double 10 for Steve Hine. Double 5. 3-1 to the Muffin Man. 1. That's all he needs. One more leg. And he is in to tomorrow night's final. He will join Scott Taylor. It looks like now it's going to be in vain. Tops. And the Muffin Man makes Saturday night at the Super Series. Steve Hine is there. He really had to battle for his place on the big night in Portsmouth. But he is there. Jimi Hendrix could do one of only 2 things. Win the group or get knocked out. And unfortunately for the Dutchman, his campaign comes to an end. He beats, or is beaten by Steve Hine by 4 legs to 2. Coming up after the break, our final knockout sees Nigel Lloyd take on Joe Croft.
He's getting it done as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Doesn't want any dramas, and there's no dramas there. And Croft is 1 leg away.
Fire says no.
Nigel, you require 72.
We spoke about there trying not to be any dramas from his perspective. Well, he's just let one dramatic moment come into play here. His heart will be in his mouth. As Lloyd has a dart at tops.
52.
But it doesn't go. And so this time, Joe has 3 in hand. And Croft is through to tomorrow night's final. Crofty makes the lofty heights of Saturday night for the very first time. He gets the better of Nigel Lloyd by 4 legs to 1. That is a very, very relieved man. Joe Croft is through. He had to work for it. Nigel Lloyd did a fantastic job to take it through as long as it did. But cross quality just came through in the end. A 4-1 victory for him against Nigel Lloyd in the final game of the afternoon session. Myself and Mace are going to make the trip over to the studio to talk about all of the afternoon's action. And we're going to do that on the other side of this short break. Well, that was an afternoon that twisted and turned left, right and centre, it's fair to say. Chris Mason's been watching every single dart with me this afternoon. These are the results from our afternoon's affairs. Well, each of the first half of the matches went on the left-hand side of the draw bracket. Half of the other lot went on the right-hand side. But it is Steve Hine and Joe Croft that make their way through to tomorrow night's final. Let's begin by talking about Steve Hine, Chris, because over the course of the 2 days, it's fair to say that out of everybody involved in that group, he was probably the most consistent.
Yeah, he found his level and he seemed to be able to hold that level throughout the entirety of the 10 matches he played. Yes, there was a couple of matches that he won, he may have lost, and there was a couple that he certainly lost that he should have won, all but for a few missed doubles. But it was a fascinating group that incredibly came to the final 2 matches of the group. That's how tight it was.
One thing we know about Steve Hine is keeping his composure when it matters the most, and that was exactly what he did in that game.
Yeah, he's massively experienced. He's been around a long time. Like I said, I played him in the Worlds at the Circus Tavern, so that was at least 17 years ago. I think it was probably something like 20 years ago. So he's been around the block as Steve, and not for the first time making Saturday night, and missed out last time on legs difference from the semi-final, I believe. So he'll be looking to go one better, and he's going to be a dangerous floater in the pack tomorrow night.
Elsewhere, Joe Croft, the other player to make his way through, good winner in the end as well. What pleased you the most about him? Because there seems like there's going to be some areas of improvement for him.
The fact that he was the guy I picked to win. I thought he was one that was coming in here on the back of playing a Challenge Tour weekend and hung around. I didn't realise he hung around in Germany just in case an opportunity came up to play in the Pro Tour. But he's getting more and more experience. I was impressed with him at the UK Open. He's on a bit of a high at the moment, and he fancies his game, and he showed in spells that he can produce. Got a little bit bogged down at other times, but I sort of get that with a player. I don't want to see a player laughing when he loses. That tells me there's little to no ambition, and he's a serious player, and he takes the game seriously, and he plays it with an air of seriousness, and I quite like that. He needs to just rein it in a little bit, because he'll find it very emotionally tiring at times. So he's just got to find that balance. But I think there was a lot of pressure on him to qualify. He was expected to qualify. I give him the build up, but ultimately in the end he delivered, and he delivered well in that final match.
He did. Right, let's have a look at the tournament bracket then, because we are heading towards the halfway point in terms of knowing our qualifiers for tomorrow night. Well, that's next week's breakdown.
It's so good, we want to look at it again.
It's that good next week that we're going to play tomorrow. We're going to play them. They're going to play tonight or something.
No, I don't think so.
No. Right, the group breakdown is as follows. Scott Taylor's going to make his way through Group A. We know that Croft and Hine are going to make it through Group C. As far as Group B is concerned, there's 3 players in pole position, but you sense Chris Quantock's going to have something to say about it.
Yeah, he's going to have to come out tonight and be perfect. He's going to have to win 4 from 4 tonight. Loving the chances of Adam Lipscomb and about time, and he's been a different player this week. Certainly from any other time we've seen him before, a lot more assured, looks a lot more confident. But Neil Duff, Adam Lipscomb, Chaz Barstow, and the outsider Chris Quantock still very much in the mix.
Yeah, I knew Connor Scott was that good, but he can't make it through Group A 2 weeks in a row. Well, we're about to end our coverage, and well, tonight, if it's anything like last night, it's going to be incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to tonight. Last night was spectacular, and in the end, Devon Peterson certainly made some strides of improvement. Let's hope he can do what the young man Johnny Stewart did today and pick up a few wins.
Meet in a few hours?
Yeah, 10 p.m.
All right, we'll see you there. Thank you so much for your company today. We'll see you tonight from 10 o'clock to see how Group B culminates, and if it's anything like the drama of Group C, what a night we've got here at the Super Series.